fucking starting hand. I don't know if I'll be able to put out much of it because I'm a really beginner in this game, but I think it's great. So this card gives you magicka, that means mana. So I play it, right? He kills it because it has guard, and I play the other one, so I get one more mana. He kills it. Then I can use the shout card that draws a creature from your discard pile. So I'll draw one of these ones from my discard pile. Then play it again. Discarded pile here in this game means the graveyard, by the way, not that you discard cards from your hand or something.
Die, Outlander.
Let's see if this will
They
work.
make it too easy.
Oh, this card's annoying.
The waters of life.
Die, Outlander.
Kajit has had enough. They make it too easy.
Oh my god. This is really, really, really bad. Well, this card might help us in our situation here, but I don't think now I can do anything.
The waters of life. Kajit has had enough. Kajit has had enough.
Value Town Trump in the final match for the Americas Championship. Had he
Let's do this.
Okay, I can finish off that minion.
won that match, he would have gone to play against Purple and a few other people in the Americas Championship, maybe have gone to BlizzCon that year. Instead, he was stopped one match away. That was the closest we ever had from having a repeat championship appearance. Pavel could be the first person to do that.
Pavel
Time
is
to take
himself
the
just
offensive.
one match away from having a chance to defend his world title back-to-back.
All right, well, with that, let's go ahead and get the last quarterfinal match underway. Who's going to World? Let's find out. First, our player, the reigning world champion from Russia. Please welcome to the stage, Pavel.
Pavel is 30-4 in HCT matches since the last call last year. 88% win rate in HCT matches.
His opponent from Sweden, top 10 earner of all time. Please welcome Orange.
Good thing about this card is that you
This
can,
year's playoffs was Orange's
if I
first
remember right,
appearance
you
in the
can choose
HCT
what
stage.
card you want to
He
draw
is trying to
from
make
your
the
deck.
most of it. A win here will do just
fucking
that.
OP.
My
But we won't
magic
play it
is
yet
my
because
arm.
we have
Let's
shit.
get ready for quarterfinal
Give
number
me
4.
That one.
Quarterfinal number 4. Pavel versus
7-7.
Orange.
Won't be able to clear it.
Well, I'm playing against no one else but the world champion Pavel.
Orange is one of the players who I respect. And yeah, I'm super excited about my match versus him.
Pavel is a good friend of mine, and we prepared together, and I like him a lot as a person.
Yeah, for now, it doesn't matter if I'm playing with my friend. Now, first thing is my opponent, and I'll try my best to crush his dream going to the world championship.
He is not gonna stand between me and the world championship.
Pavel versus Orange.
By the way, guys, I'm playing Legends and I'm watching the Hearthstone Summer
These players
Championship.
have practiced together, have battled in the past, but they step onto the global stage with only one spot remaining for the World Championship, and you can already see it reflected in their lineups of their preparation. Very similar in archetypes, a couple of differences in their deck lists, and it actually varies across the board. It could be a difference of just one or two Galactic Crawlers, but there's also a difference in philosophy for how they play their Highlander Priest, for example.
Yeah, they're going with a
My
bit
match
different
is
road
my
overall.
honor.
Pavel has the inclusion of Lyra the Sun Shard in his match, which is the more standard version of the Highlander Priest we've seen, while Orange has the more new school tech of Gadget and Auctioneer
Where's my
that both he and Purple have played so far this
Fuck you
tournament.
did.
So far, everyone with Auctioneer has qualified for the World Championship. Will that continue?
Yeah, it seems that Orange has created a lot more power spikes in his deck with Sea Giants and Evolved Shaman, and you kind of see things like the Auctioneer. That gives you a lot stronger turns if you're trying to play to your win condition. However, Pavel has a lot of disruption in his lineup. He's playing Dirty Rats all over the place. Dirty Rat is high Highlander base. Two Dirty Rats in his J trap. And when you talk about your preparation, Pavel expected a lot more Quest Mage and a few other decks to help target his specific J Druid, but it didn't end up becoming the case.
Don't hit
And
face
yet,
for sure.
how does it play into a factor if you start accounting for Dirty Rat in, for example, the Priest Mirror? Is that really disruptive towards how Orange wants to play his game?
In a lot of these matchups, Dirty Rat is going to be more powerful than some of the tools that that Orange is playing. Dirty Rat is much more powerful than Galactic Crawler against the other controlling type decks, though it could make things a little bit more difficult for him against the aggressive strategies. Pavel going to be starting things off in game number 1 with his Shaman, while Orange is playing Rogue. This is one of those Galactic Crawler matchups, but none to be seen in either player's deck.
Start off with Rogue versus Shaman. This is a matchup that Shaman should, have an advantage because of how much they're able to deal with the Rogue's board very efficiently, and because they can threaten pressure before Rogue can really get moving.
Pavel mulligans 1 card, keeping a Pirate, and the card he gets back is Patches.
Yeah, that's not what you want to see.
Gets in for 1 though.
This is interesting because a lot of times people talk about how Patches off the draw is obviously horrendous. It's in most cases, if not all decks cases, the worst draw that you can possibly have every time. However, Shaman is a deck that can utilize the hand fairly well because of things like Flametongue Totem, and so there is value in holding on to the Patches. And so when Pavel plays Patches turn 1, what is he trying to achieve here, Gibler?
I think he's potentially trying to set himself up for a possibly fortunate draw in a Flametongue Totem. He does have the play the next turn of Jade Claws to contest a
Whoa.
Firefly.
This
He's
is
pushing
really,
some
really
damage
good.
with his Patches. If he were to just play nothing there and then play the Jade
Why do I
Claws the
drop
following
this guy?
turn, that lets Orange just dagger up and not really
Fuck
take any
this one.
damage over turns. Well, here he's at least pushing for something. Fill out his spot, his mana curve. Otherwise, he would just
Bye-bye.
be hero power here, or potentially just using the Corsair to take off that last charge of the weapon. Orange has some powerful tools, though. He just picked up that Tar Creeper, which can potentially allow him to stave off any of this offense. He also just has the Pirate Captains, the South Sea Captains, which can even allow him to kill the Primal Fin Totem twice.
Yeah, this is going to let Orange dominate the board just pretty commandingly. Pavel can answer immediately with his weapon and just with the board, and does he want to start putting more pressure through either Mana Tide Totem, or does he want to be more resourceful? The thing about it too is that Rogue actually has very good game plan going to the mid stages of the game. If Shaman is...
I can't play everything, so...
Sorry, I was just thinking about sequencing real quick, but I think it's okay because in case he got spell damage to him, that would have changed it. But the thing about it is that Rogue doesn't deal with wide boards very efficiently. And so if Shaman's able to build that big wide board, Rogue can use knives. It's not really playing any other way to get back.
Shit.
So this is
Like,
the really
some
crucial
this
turn
guy.
for Pavel to establish that big board. And Orange is
Fuck,
playing very slow. Rogue can do that,
But
but
you're
you're also giving
losing.
time for Shaman to ramp up a lot of the big threats as time goes on.
And Orange, speaking of big threats, just picked up a Bitterhead Hydra, which is a powerful mid-game threat, but does run the risk of dealing a lot of damage to you, and your opponent has a wide board of 1/1s, access to Maelstrom Portal. There's a lot that can go wrong if you're going to coin out the Hydra that turn. Orange still plays it slow.
You have to look how I own masses. little lasts. I played
Let's
here.
go.
Something. Right now his hand
My
is just
time is
looking pretty weak just by
I
itself.
clear this.
Eventually, probably.
Right now, Pavel's looking for evolve. He has Doppelgangster, he has Chain Gang, if he can find evolve, or even just Thrall to turn this board of small minions into a board of much more threatening
I
minions.
keep a spare blade
It'll
in
allow
my
him to put the pressure on Orange. And Orange, he has, as we mentioned, playing this pretty slowly. His hand has been pretty reactive. He has a lot of expensive cards. So that means that
Oh
he's going
my
to
god,
really
oh
need
my
to
god.
put the pressure on Pavel to prevent him
This
from getting
is
that
so
big haul.
sweet.
This is a tricky turn too, because as much as Beer Tide is the most powerful play, you're also aware of how your opponents can really punish you with devolve, for example, and wiping your board. And also the board is something to consider too. You know, do I want to contract the board a little bit in case he has things like Bloodlust to pressure me?
Death to
So
dry
Orange,
skins.
if he goes for the Beer Tide, sets up the best possible scenario for the
Do not
coin
feint
Bone
a
Mare, which
snake
is
by me.
just been drawn, so it really shows a lot of validity to
These
Orange
streets
keeping
are
the coin.
mine.
Can get punished though in a multitude of ways if Pavel has the right cards.
Flame Tongue is one of White Strong here, allows Pavel to get in, clear through much of the board here that Orange has generated. He even also just has the Chain Gang potentially used to help defend against this Hydra. Chain Gang next to a Flame Tongue even could potentially cause the Hydra to really have fits trying to get any damage through.
It's like Feral Spirits, except you can control where it's placed, which is really useful. And Pavel,
I really like this game.
There's
There's
I
the
didn't
ball
expect
too.
to
comes
like
into
it
his hand,
much.
and that's going to fit exactly what Shaman's
For
game
example,
plan is.
first time I see this card.
In fact, Pavel's been talking to us
Jerusalem.
all
Whoa,
weekend
whoa.
long about what his game
Whoa.
plan, how focused. Let's listen to what he had to say.
For this tournament, my main target is just to get top 4 to
Interesting.
qualify to the World
Pretty
Championship.
sure
But
kill
We will
him.
seize our
uh,
own fate.
even if I get top 4, it doesn't mean that I will not try to get top 1. I will still
okay.
fight for top 1 and do my best to get it.
Next card. That's interesting.
Pavel's usually a player that likes to keep things pretty lighthearted. He ends up joking around
So many
the vast majority of the time. I feel like almost 8 out of every 10 interactions I've ever had with him, he's just saying something sarcastic or kind of cheeky, just trying to be very playful. But, you know, when we talk about this weekend and what it meant to him, it was, like he said, it's all serious business. Which at first, when he said it, I wasn't sure to take it seriously or not, but he stared me down, and I had no feeling to believe him.
All right, well, Orange here, he's taking this game very seriously, taking his time figuring out exactly how he wants to maneuver this, decides to go as much removal as possible, clearing off both
Hey, that's
gangsters
2-0
as well
in my
as the
first
Flame
arena
Tongue.
run.
Now, though, it's time for Pavel to really start firing on all cylinders with Doppelganger
level up.
balls.
Yeah, let's see what's behind this evolve, though. He just wants to go for the biggest board possible. There's no taunts, by the way. Oh, there's Leroy Shouts not enough mana, but I was trying to count the damage.
Orange has 11 on board right now. If he were to Bone Mare and go face, he'd have 15, but really setting himself up to get devolved.
Well, devolve is certainly an interesting thing to talk about, because Orange didn't see his opponent deal with devolve at all. In fact, he just played very reactively or defensively through like Saradite Chain Gang against Spiritide Hydra. So I wonder if he's going to make a read that he doesn't have it. It's 2 cards. Seems unlikely. And this is the turn 2 Bone Mare, but he also has other plays available to him.
If he is able to Bone Mare here too, like potentially take value trades and then Bone Mare, Bone Mare devolves into a 6. His minions on board, like the Bile Tide, Bile Slayer. There's the Bitter Tide Hydra, and the Bile Spot Slayer. I did Bile Tide, I think. But regardless, he can take some solid value trades, potentially get those Bone Mare, those devolve down with the Bone Mare. He's actually going to go ahead and Shadow Step his Bile Spine and just go for a full removal plan here.
Okay, let's
Nice.
try.
And something too that we didn't consider too is Pablo just might have
Magic
game
guys,
damage.
so
We know he didn't, but
well,
Orange was factoring that in.
Oh, there's Bloodlust though, and there's 9-14. If Orange had removed 1 fewer minion
Yeah.
board, that Bloodlust would be lethal.
That would have been Devolve Bloodlust.
Yes.
And that would have been game.
So Orange's removal play this turn, fighting for the board here, does play around both the Devolve and the Bloodlust, one of which was in Pavel's hand, one of which he picked up immediately. And now there's less exciting plays with Pablo. He can trade, or rather eat the Vile Spine, potentially devolve down the Hydra if he wishes.
He could
Or he
bloodlust
can
trade
trade
down.
things in, yeah.
It actually kind of works out okay too because he gets value trades. Because he picked up the Taunt Totem, there's no easy pick off.
That's true.
And he can play Powerful Totem pretty safe.
And get 7 to the face here.
Oh yeah, 7 to the face is even better than the trade. And honestly, Summoning Portal's not really doing much now that Bloodlust is gone. He has 1 card remaining.
Another Slayer for Orange, but his entire hand is expensive here. He cannot trigger the combo. This is a particularly awkward spot because Orange is only at 8 life. Playing a Hydra is very risky. Any damage into it, a Maelstrom Portal is very threatening. He could play potentially Hydra and attack into the Taunt Totem, attack into the Dagger Up and attack into the Murloc, so there's only a single minion that can attack. Gonna go ahead and Bone Mare though, and this gotta hurt. Because of the Taunt Totem, he's able to get 0 damage in from this big Bone Mare swing.
Yeah.
Devolve will get the buff off. 4 and a 6.
Okay, that's as pretty solid as you can get. I mean, the Infested Wolf stats aren't anything great, but it's something sturdy onto the board. Only problem is, now Orange is within striking distance of Jade Lightning for the rest of the game, and he's still not threatening. He's still not threatening Pavel's life total whatsoever.
And Bittertide Hydra is effectively a non-factor now. If Pavel attacks to face, puts Orange at 3 life, that means that any damage dealt to the Hydra at any point just is absolutely lethal.
Oh, you're right. I mean, it's already been shut off for a long time.
It's pretty bad already.
As if he needed another reason not to play it.
All right, a Swashbuckler. And Pavel staring Orange down.
He's glancing over to try to see if he can get any kind of information. Pavel's told us he does this periodically. Swashbuckler could pick up Storm Heal and some AoE.
Stormforge X, he cannot use his health as a resource. He is at just 3 life. Vile Spine Slayer can take out the Skull King.
Yes. And then he could trade it enough so that he's guaranteed to live for 1 more turn, or maybe half a turn, because when he finishes this one, he still has to wait to see what Pavel draws off the top
of
of his
course,
deck.
Prophecy.
Because now Jade Claws is another way for Pavel to end this game. But the board is slipping away from Shaman. Rogue has fought back. Just did Orange take too long to get to this point?
There are so many cards that end the game right now for Pavel. The second Bloodlust, a Jade Light, a Jade Claws.
I mean, are you
Flanking Totem.
pushing 5 to face, or do you want to threaten to kill your opponent? The
It's
1
true.
damage doesn't matter for 2, I think. Unless I'm missing something.
The only difference is how many times you can actually attack into your opponent's minion. You feel like you don't have the ability to clear both of these. Yeah, there's no card that kills Orange by leaving 2 up that doesn't kill him leaving 1. Well, of course, Patches has already been here. But now the question becomes, can Orange kill all of these minions, all 4 of these minions that are spawning? He has to use all of his minions to attack into them.
Let me light
Count how much damage. There's 5, 10,
I'm
14
gonna
on
lose
board,
this
plus
one
Leroy
anyway.
is 21. Oh, sorry, it's 20, and Powell's at 21.
You know, Pavel trying to figure out if he can go face, put Orange to 1. If he needs to attack into the Swashbuckler, what outs does this cut off for Orange?
Let's see.
Well, the truth is, if he attacks with all face, it doesn't. All of his 1-attack minions are going to get killed off anyways, but he puts the pressure on. Orange has 1
by
draw.
1 damage.
No. Prince Keliseth is nothing. People talk about Eviscerate versus Prince Keliseth, and you see the differences in strengths right here.
But Orange can still keep himself alive. He has 4 minions that can attack into the 4 minions that Pavel has that have any power. He can then attack face with his weapon, set up Keliseth and Dagger. Orange is hanging around by a thread. 1 life, and he's 1 damage off lethal.
But it's starting to get to the tipping point as well. There's so much power on board, and if Orange just swings to the face, with Prince Keliseth being way on the board, as long as Pavel's not able to set up a wall of taunts, Orange should be able to set up a 2-turn lethal here.
Too soon, let kind guide me.
Pavel has multiple outs, needs any kind of damage.
The waters of life.
Doppelgangster's not it. Now he needs a taunt totem. Is a taunt totem even enough?
That's not enough.
That is it. Orange at 1 life. Claws his
Unbelievable.
way back into this game. Leroy is going to end it.
Orange had a terrible start to this game compared to the pressure Pavel put on, and is just able to hang on, and that's a 1-0 lead for
And
Orange.
Look at the relief on Orange's face after he has climbed back from what felt like an insurmountable deficit. One
Huge
game
win
close.
for Orange here, as the Shaman being able to defeat the Rogue was definitely a matchup that was going in Pavel's favor. You saw why. He got the big evolve. And that's just game number 1. When we return, we're going to find out what's going to happen. We're just getting started with Orange versus Pavel. Stay tuned.
Watch BlizzCon online with the virtual ticket. Includes in-game items and more.
It's hard. I always play this, but shit. I messed up.
I feel a storm coming.
We have the advantage.
Gotcha. Let me lighten your load.
Get rid of this fast. I think I can do it now. I cannot change.
Currently, Orange is up 1-0 over Pavel, who may be feeling a little nervous. Not necessarily the case at the start of the weekend, though. He actually was talking to us about how comfortable he was being under the lights in Hollywood. This is what he had to say.
I always wanted to be an actor when I was a child. I was watching a lot of Jackie Chan movies, and that type of movies was probably my favorite when I was a child. Besides Harry Potter, there will be a movie about me, about the story of my life. It will be better if I play myself as actor. Yeah, I don't mind being noticed by people who don't mind making pictures with my fans. I wasn't even planned to become a professional player. I wouldn't start playing this game just for money. But I definitely want to have a supercar in the future, like a Lamborghini or Ferrari. Will be cool.
We have
Yeah,
the
definitely want
advantage.
to have a big house. I mean, who doesn't want that? Show me him.
He knows what he wants, and that's to star in his own movie written and directed and produced by Pavel.
Well, Pavel has come back from so many series in which he has been behind. Perhaps it is he who is the boy who lived.
That's right, coming to fall next year. Be careful. That's what he always tells us every single time we meet him in the casters.
Careful.
He always tells us to be careful, but we don't know. He doesn't say anything else. He just walks away.
About what? We're not sure.
We have no idea. Pavel is currently down 0-1, and we're going to find out whether or not he can bring it back in game 2. He's got his own rogue to strike back against Orange's Priest. And that's quite the early start here for Orange. You generally want to just have stuff to do against Rogue's early game.
The North Star Clerk in particular is very powerful against the one-drop and the drawing cards. Against
Okay, I can sacrifice this shit.
Firefly, being able to bump into their minions, heal your own Cleric on turn 2 can be very, very strong. Looks like
No,
Orange
that's
will
not
get
that
it.
wise, I guess.
I'm very surprised.
Well, I mean, the win condition a lot of times for the Priest is to make sure you get, well, Raza and Anduin, right? So,
Yes, but perhaps more so against Rogue and Tempo Rogue, the win condition is to survive, is to outpace their early aggression. Perhaps he doesn't feel like the North Star Cleric contributes enough to that. But I am somewhat surprised to see that. Pavel has the ability
Yeah,
here to
that
make
down.
a large Van Cleef if he chooses. He could potentially even coin backstab Van Cleef, get that 6/6. He could go ahead and take it a little bit slower. He can make a larger Van Cleef in a future turn, while also potentially getting some value off backstab or just generating more movements to the
Yep.
board.
So, you know, the thing about the Van Cleef, too, is that it can actually layer with the Bitter Tide Hydra itself. By playing a big Van Cleef, you force your opponent to have the Shadow Word Death, and then you can land the Bitter Tide Hydra, and then how does your opponent deal with that? Of course, if they have Silence of the Van Cleef and Shadow Word Death with Bitter Tide Hydra, then you're really struggling, but that is the game plan that Pavel can piece together, so there's no need to rush out the Van Cleef immediately, especially because he has a pretty decent turn 3 play.
Well, it may be Van Cleef time, though. The Swashbuckler here, plus backstab, coin into Van Cleef. He's able to get a profitable use of the backstab on a very real minion, as well as develop a giant Defias Brotherhood.
His first 8/8, how will Orange deal with it? He's got no Silence, no Shadow Word Death.
Looks like Pavel is debating whether he wants to trade off his patches or use his weapon, his dagger here. Using the dagger would do a little bit of damage to his face to preserve the patches. There's no copy of Galactic Crawler in Pavel, or rather in Orange's deck, so there's no risk of having pirates specifically up. Though there's potentially the risk of running into a Spirit Lash, maybe. They just want to have multiple minions up. And your health does matter. You know, you will often lose these games by just being essentially ground out of meaningful resources by the Priest, but sometimes they will simply race you.
Now, I was looking for Orange deck to see if there's any Galactic Crawlers in it. I don't see it as well, but even if there was, he couldn't guarantee that his opponent would have value. He has a Swashbuckler on the board. This is the points where Orange kind of wishes that he had an ability to draw, because right now his best play is not really much. He can clear a little bit off the board, he can try to play Doomsayer, and just basically try to gain 7 health that way. and just hope that Pavel doesn't have a very good, meaningful turn 4. Turn 4 is the point of which the rogue deck
Holding
tends
on
to
to
struggle with
anything
an
interesting?
amazing play.
Pavel does have the Prince Balinar that we saw just a moment ago on the sidebar, which is a 4-drop that he can possibly play. Not in his hand, though. But he's going to reload a little bit with the Shaku after taking that Doomsayer.
Yeah. And now Pavel's got basically turn 5 and turn 6 locked up. He's got Fear-type Hydra, Viable Spine Slayer to get through any big minions or any reasonable threats. And he's also got Shadow Step for some combat tricks here. And Orange just draws Shadow Reaper Anduin, which is great in the late stage of the game, but
You got to
pretty
get
much
there.
a dead draw.
You've got to get there. 8 is a lot of mana when your opponent has an
Let's
8-8
do
in
this.
play already and another 8-8 to play just next turn.
Into the breach.
3 turns away. That's I don't know about math there, but 8 plus 8 plus 16, it adds up to a lot.
How does Orange get himself out of here? He doesn't even have any card draw. So what he's going to be done is stuck. He's just going to be stuck to whatever he draws next here, with 8, 10, 13, 14 represented immediately. And I mean, how much information is given to Pavel with just by Orange passing here?
Song Stealer, not super interesting, but a big threat. The Doomsayer's already gone, so just as a 5-5 they can potentially stop a Doomsayer, not terribly exciting. I mean, I think that we may actually just see Pavel close out this game next turn. Novice Engineer can find healing, but there's no huge heal in Orange's deck. He does not have the healing potion.
I guess this is an instance where Orange just has to go for a Hail Mary.
Find a Viral Slayer off this Potion of Madness.
Sure. Cold Blood.
That does not do anything.
I guess that's also another thing to think about when you have Gadgetzan Auctioneer versus Liar the Sun Shard. Is Orange Wow, Shadow
About
Word Death
death.
off the top, but is that enough to stop the pressure? I mean, Orange still staring down a lot of
He
damage.
survives the turn. He can kill the Edwin Van Cleef. It looks like he chooses. It's interesting. Yeah, he actually could have chosen to kill the Vadertide Hydra, which has a little bit of damage on it, but is not vulnerable to silence. So there's the silence that can actually remove a great deal of the threat from the Van Cleef if he had chosen to go that way.
Right, but then Dragonfire Potion,
He has
Holy Smite.
Dragonfire Smite, yes. This is out in this
Allows him to
instance.
open it up.
And he may just need to clear the board as it stands anyway.
I think that's actually going through Pavel's mind right now. Like, my opponent used Shadow Word Death onto my Van Cleave when he could have picked up an alternative way to win, or alternative way to clear. A little cute use of Cabal Song Stealer here, silencing your own Bittertide Hydra's downside. Instead of taking damage, now nothing will happen when Bittertide Hydra takes any kind of damage whatsoever.
Yeah, Pavel's going to go ahead and hit the Novice Engineer to prevent Dragonfire alone clearing his board. If Orange can find that Dragonfire, he will have to clear. Binding Heal, that's only 5 life. And there's 13 plus 5. 18 winning for him on Pavel's side of the board next turn. He is pretty much
Yeah, and we talked a lot about Auctioneer and how it helps with the Priest deck, but at the same time, Auctioneer is vulnerable to the same things that it's historically been, which is pressure. Liar the Sun Shard gave you like this weird chance to get this crazy Hail Mary out where like you can just keep chaining things. Like he could have maybe done it earlier with Silence, maybe the Holy Smites and like other things to help him stabilize.
Okay.
Not really the case here. It's just pretty much a 6-mana 4/4 here.
Must consider. You have
Yep, there it is. So Pavel's able to take game number 2 against Orange. Strike back, making it 1-1.
Pretty one-sided game here. It just felt like the Priest fell victim to a lot of the symptoms of combo decks in general, which is you can have pieces, but not enough time, really.
Let's
And
go,
one of the
then.
things, too, also is
My
to consider
time is
that Orange
precious.
mulliganed really aggressively when he had Northshire Cleric and Novice Engineer. Those are cards that the Priest are pretty happy with their opening hand, and to the point where you were even talking about at the very beginning.
The Cleric in particular, because it can challenge the board and draw you cards, and you don't really have anything ever to do on turn 1. As the Priest, you have no proactive 1-cost cards. I certainly I believe that Orange has played this matchup enough that he has stats on how likely certain cards are to win you games in your opening hand, mulligan, etc. But that's a card that surprises me that he chose to mulligan.
That's right. Well, the series is now tied 1 game apiece. And The big thing with Pavel's Rogue too was that Rogue does tend to be favored against most things, but he did manage to dodge his opponent's Shaman too. So now it feels like the series is going to be evening up, and I was a little interested in how like the Priest would line up, because it does feel like Priest mirrors often have been defining a lot of these lineups going head to head. Doesn't seem to be the case this series though.
Priest, despite being a class that many players have in this tournament, were considering perhaps the strongest, and in fact it is the only class that was brought by every single competitor. It hasn't done terribly well in this tournament. I believe its win rate is approaching 50%. Granted, some amount of that is due to the number of mirror matches. However, we've seen lots of games like the one we just saw, where the Priest has all these pieces, but nothing that really fits together to answer what their opponent has. And this will be Orange's chance, once again, to try and answer Pavel's aggression, as his Priest is taking on Pavel's Shaman.
Ooh, already an interesting choice right off the bat here. I've seen a lot of people talk about specifically Firefly and Flame Tongue Totem's early interaction, and how they really value pushing out Flame Tongue Totem really early on against Priest specifically. It's because of how difficult it is for them to answer those double one-drop Flame Tongue Totem into anything else.
I think that Pavel's draw, the way that it lines up with the Jade Claws, he has the desire to play the Claws on 2 into a lot of different things, and then potentially even the Flame Tongue in a position where, for instance, going to kill the Acolyte of Pain and prevent Orange from getting additional draws. Gonna go ahead and point it out now, though, which does feel a little weird.
Well, because if he did coin out the double one, he'd have the 3-2 trading in, and then he'd have the 1-1 left over. And so in this case, he'd actually have 2 minions and the Flame Tongue in between. But, I mean, Pavel's won the board, and that's what's important to him. But even having an extra 3-1 or 1-1 to trade with 3 damage is massive for a Shaman in this matchup.
Well, the Kazakas for Orange, also huge, finds a 5 damage potion, perhaps. And 4 damage to all, that is the sweet spot. That is the kill everything potion that you very often need against the Shaman.
Yeah, big time draw here for Orange to be able to get Fell Bloom. He's going to pace himself. I think, you know, one of the things to do is to slow down and try to give your opponent the least amount of information possible. If you pick it too fast, people tend to read that and say, well, he pretty much got the ideal card set up that he wants.
And this is something that players will read into. You know, if you take a very short amount of time, they'll think, okay, well, you got the perfect card. Sometimes if you take too long, they'll think you're Hollywooding them, though. They're like, all right, this can't be that hard, and you must have gotten the perfect potion.
That's right. Well, Pavel said he didn't want to be an actor, right?
Well, Orange is the one who's trying to go for the Academy Award right here.
It's true.
And yeah, he takes the 4 damage, 5 damage. And Pavel, it looks like he's going to go ahead and fire off the Maelstrom to use his weapon to take down the Kazakas. And this allows him, ooh,
interesting.
Boar control right away.
And it's nice because just gets a little bit of extra damage, which can be relevant. He does have Bloodlust in the hand, so being able to get closer to threatening to win through that is a huge deal.
Well, and this is very relevant because Pavel, with the Kazakas potion picked by Orange, is thinking that, okay, I want to try and get as much value and damage out of this Flame Tongue as I possibly can, and try to force Orange to use his Kazakas potion inefficiently. I don't want to overcommit into this, because if he has a powerful Kazakas potion, he'll be able to blow up all my stuff. And right now, Pavel has essentially committed just a Flame Tongue to this game. And if Orange doesn't have a way to kill the Flame Tongue itself efficiently, then maybe he has to commit Potion, and Pavel can get much more value out of Mana Tide, Jade Claw, the thing from below in later turns.
Yeah, Pavel wants to see the Potion this turn, so that way he has a free Mana Tide to play onto the board and let his opponent deal with it that way, because then it's a little bit safer, and then your opponent has to have Silence or Shadow Fiend or other inconvenient uses of cards that he'd rather use on some other powerful pieces.
And the totems for the Shaman are, in many ways, their best cards in this matchup, because they allow you to get more value. This is very much a matchup that ends up being about value. You need to get enough resources to keep up with what your opponent's doing to remove your board, and also to be able to keep generating additional threats. Pavel really wants to be able to force Orange to use his mass removal spells on garbage, and then, well, when he finally has Doppelgangster Evolve or a Thrall, it'll put Orange in a position where he just won't have the tools to win.
Yeah, except it works both ways here. Orange is trying to bait Pavel a little bit more into some AoE, which Pavel is aware of.
Right.
But Pavel can also set up a real threat because he has Bloodlust, and now he also picked up Bloodseal Corsair, so that's also an extra 4 damage from patches that comes out. But if he doesn't use Jade Claws, for example, it overloads. So there's a little bit of drawbacks on both sides here. Dragonfire Potion comes in the hand, so Orange has insurance in case another big wave of threats, which obviously he's thinking about the very big turn 6 that we always see, which is Doppelgangster Evolve. And Dragonfire Potion, one of your best tools against it, should match up evenly.
A second Bloodlust in the late stage of the game may be powerful. It's possible that any board that Pavel can stick with double Bloodlust late is able to end the game.
Forest is more clever.
Right now, though, Orange knows he's going into
There's more
the
to
threatening
come.
Bloodlust turn as well as potential Doppelvolve turn. So he needs to try to mitigate the potential damage of this board while retaining enough resources to deal with the potential follow-up.
Looking for any cheeky use of Potion of Madness. You can steal the spell damage totem and Spirit Lash, but it doesn't clear everything off.
I really feel like you've been hanging out with Raven and Sottle too much. You've said cheeky so many times just in this run.
I am very impressionable. And Sottle and Raven do bicker a lot. So.
Yeah, and Orange sees exactly the play you're talking about. The Spirit Lash with the stolen spell power totem to fully smite down the Mana Tide. Leaving just a lonely Flame Tongue, which is still quite threatening.
There's more to come.
One AoE off the checklist here for Pavel, but there's plenty more to go. And of course, the big AoE too is that if he extends really far into the board and say he gets a big evolve, there is Shadow Reaper Anduin as well as a nuke
We
option.
shall take the fight to
Yeah,
them.
there's always the weirdness in this matchup of not wanting to evolve a giant board into the turns that your opponent can Anduin, because you end up giving them ability to get value out of something that they already want to play proactively anyway. But now, once again, Pavel just had his board cleared. Now suddenly 6 minions on the board. And Orange, he has the Kazakus Potion, he has the Dragonfire. Needs to figure out how to maneuver to deal with each push of Pavel.
You swim in deep
Trying to
waters.
decipher how important this swing is.
Hold it back.
Yeah, and I wonder what kind of information. I mean, Orange has to be feeling like Pavel's been holding Bloodlust. Why are you calculating damage that meticulously if it isn't obvious already? Or is Pavel acting? I mean, that is what you're talking about.
It's true. And either Bloodlust or Thrall are both very scary on this board.
Yeah.
It's not just a matter of am I dead, because you also have to worry about will my opponent create a board that I simply cannot react to.
Which is likely that he can, considering that he has Kazakus Potion and Dragonfire Potion if he doesn't use one already this turn. And, I mean, the Thrall Deathseer, for example, shouldn't really make everything 5 attack, so the Anduin isn't really that great, but Dragonfire Potion is fantastic against most things Shaman can do. Not something that Pavel wants to see, but he still has more ammo with his Doppelgangster. Perhaps he feels comfortable playing it for tempo.
Still no evolve.
Yeah,
Jade Lightning is a threat. It does make
The
a
restoration
sizable
mage can never be counted
But-
out.
only
Time to
3-3.
take the offensive.
Yeah, it's something, which is nice, and you're coming up on your Shadow Reaper, or your opponent's Shadow Reaper Anduin turn.
Orange safely at 29. And
Wow.
there is the threat that once Shadow Reaper Anduin comes down, it becomes increasingly difficult to get value out of your big boards, because your opponent can simply pick off all of your totems every turn. They can pick off all of your smaller minions and try to deploy. Ultimately, you have this weird tension between wanting to get a big board that Anduin can't kill individually, but also, well, if you get a big board, well, they play Anduin in an offense, just kill it. But yeah, it is time for the Death Knight.
Go then.
Orange
My
going
time
on the
is
offensive
precious.
here. No Battle Cry trigger getting any value here, but it is going to close the window in terms of the time available for Pavel.
Yeah, and here's the big thing too. This is where that tech that we've been talking about really kicks in. The Auctioneer, being able to combine with a couple of cheap spells, is going to help Orange get back into the card count and be able to find things like Raza, or even just finding ways to end the game if he's able to drain the Shaman of resources and they're stuck with Bloodlust in the hand. This is how desperate Pavel is. He's using Jade Lightning on his opponent's armor that he just gave him the Death Knight. That's nowhere near
Somewhere
enough, but
armor.
he's got to get started somewhere.
Yeah, and Auctioneer looks to be coming down for Orange. And the big reason that Purple and Orange are choosing to play Auctioneer rather than Lyra, they feel like individual cards drawn from your deck because of how focused your deck is on the specific combination of Anduin plus Raza are just way more valuable than random spells. This is giving him 2 more cards, digging him that much closer to Raza to really start going off.
And if Pavel next turn has also a big swing with the board with Doppelgangster and Thrall Deathseer.
He's got to get rid of this Gadgets and Auctioneer, though. He's going to go ahead and trade both his totems and punch with that Jade Claw that he has held back on.
But he does have a win condition now, or at least a winning line. He can Doppelgangster Thrall Deathseer. If your opponent can't deal with it, you have double Bloodlust. That should close the game in a lot of instances.
True. Though orange, we see Akanai, Circle, and Dragonfire in his hand. That is going to be very difficult for Pavel to maneuver around, even with a great double ball.
Yeah, and you're gonna. This is exactly why so many priests feel comfortable in this matchup, even if the data suggests otherwise. The fact is, Shaman has so many ways to go wide on the board, but they're not that tall until Evolve comes in. And Priest can shut down most of those game plans because of all the combination of AoEs they have.
And here Pavel also sitting with a number of cards that require you to have a board to be effective. If he'd had a board this turn, Thrall by itself, fantastic. But Orange has been answering him every single turn, demanding that he continue to reload, and he can only reload so many times.
I don't mind Orange just playing a little conservative here, removing his opponent's board. He would have to hero power 3 times, so that's 6 mana, leaving him 4 mana to use. He could use Blood Mage, Mind Blast, or you could just, I mean, he can also leave up a totem if he doesn't feel like dealing with the Flame Tongue.
You definitely want to kill the Flame Tongue. The Stone Claw is less of an issue.
Alright, let's see some fireworks. Anduin's been used, so a big double evolve here from Thrall Deathseer. Can be big. I mean, Pavel also drew Evolve as well.
There is some argument you want to go that way, but yeah, I think that Death Knight time it is. Well,
oh my goodness, everything is 6 health or less. That's a full guaranteed board clear here from Orange just with Blood Mage Thalnos and the Dragonfire Potion. Orange is going to hesitate because you obviously want to evaluate plays, but that wasn't a big enough evolve here for Pavel.
Orange doesn't even need to use Blood Mage Thalnos if he just uses 2 hero powers, which would allow him to also keep Priest of the Feast in play. He can ping the one of the 6 health, Dragonfire, ping the other one, and get the force 3 damage to the face with the Priest of the Feast.
Pavel's getting wiped out completely.
And this is one of the risks of Thrall Deathseer, is that you give away your hero power that generates totems. You have a ton of cards in your deck that require you to have minions in play. Bloodlust, Evolve. He finds a thing from below. That is something.
Another 7 mana minion coming up. Twin Emperor Vector again.
Couldn't he at least get Vecnalash this time? Like, aren't the twins lonely when you only ever get one of them these days?
Orange picks up Shadowward Horror, which is nothing really special here, but the point is that Pavel can't really win. He's got double Bloodlust. This is something that players argue, you know, like that's why double Bloodlust feels too situational. I'm stuck with it in my hand. I'm frustrated. And the truth is, most Shamans put double Bloodlust because they only want to draw 1.
Yeah.
They're not really trying to draw 2. They're trying to increase their chances for it. I think Pavel is going to suffer very quick death in the next couple turns here because he's got Prophet Valen and Mind Blast coming at him the next turn potentially if some of this board survives and gets extra damage.
Yeah, Pavel does have himself a 4/6 minion, but not much life to work with.
Let's see. 8 mana minions are pretty powerful.
Oh, not that one. That one is not good.
But he can evolve again. And 9 mana minions are also very good. For the most part. There's Sarah, there's like a lot of powerful dragons like Malyghost that also come into play.
Those don't really do that much here. Even if you were to evolve, get Malyghost, you get Jade Lightning for 9 and put Orange to 21.
A challenger triumphs. Another
Searching my brain for any other kind of really big impact minions, but I guess we'll just have to wait and see here.
Jade Lightning on the Blood Mage Thalnos. Wants to get it off the board, prevent any extra burst damage. Evolve does come in.
Snares is a big body, but Orange is closing in on ending the game. He's got That lethal guaranteed next turn.
Yeah, you can just take it slow, ping death, ping cleric, ping.
Yeah, set up for any kind of weird scenario where Pavel is somehow able to heal a little bit, which does require some evolve.
Puts him down to 8 life with Balin Mind Blast in hand. This is all but over.
Pavel's known for miracle comebacks, but I don't think this next draw can bail him out. This is looking like it's completely over for game 3.
How long can this go on? One more turn. This ends in Orange's next turn.
Yeah, I mean, the evolve here can come down. He evolves the 4-mana minion, Doomsayer.
The end is in fact coming.
Yeah.
Form of Balin Mind Blast. Oh, he's just going to take it. No Balin, no throwing in the extra damage there. Exactly what he needs. And Orange is going to take game number 3 and move to 1 game away from the World Championship.
Been a one-sided affair for games 2 and 3. Very stark contrast from the very first game when we saw it was just down to 1 health apiece. And Orange is on match point. Now, when you start looking at also just the lineups and the similarities too, we haven't been getting the mirrors really. And Pavel not able to get a win with the Priest. Oh, sorry, Orange being able to get a win with the Priest here against Pavel Shaman. Definitely going to play a big factor in as well. And now Orange, what does he have left here?
I believe it's simply his Rogue, right?
Rogue won the first game, so he has to play
Never
Shaman
mind.
left.
He has Shaman.
And then there's Shaman, so Pavel has the Shaman mirror, and he has to win his Priest versus Shaman.
Yeah, and Pavel, though, we can't count him out just yet. Pavel has been down many times in matches. In the World Championship, he won. He was down 0-2 twice, came back in both of those matches, won, went on to win the World Championship. Now, he's down 2-1. He's certainly climbed higher hills before, but if he doesn't win these next 2 games, he is not going back to defend his championship.
He talks about how much it means to him to be able to go back to the World Championship. And Orange also, Orange said that, ACT is something that he hasn't really climbed. He's climbed almost every other tournament mountain in Hearthstone, whether he's competing in offline invitationals or some really stacked big opens as well. He's done it all, the Dream Hacks, the Seed Story Cups, the IEMs. Now he's 1 game away from going to the World Championship. Do want to point out, though, after browsing some history, Pavel has been trailing every series that he ended up winning. He had to come back in every single series that he's played at this championship so far.
He is the boy who lived.
He is the boy who lived, and he can do it again. And there's a lot of packs riding on it as well, himself included. He says he wants to win, not just for the championship, but also because he wants those free packs.
Well, my packs are on Orange.
Oh, so you're rooting for Orange this match.
I'm rooting for a good game. I'll just say that.
The past 2 haven't exactly been the best. They've just been one-sided stomps on both sides. And let's go into game number 4 as Orange going to close it out. And need a better hand than that against Shaman, or against Priest, because Pavel has 2 forms of area effect immediately. We'll see what ends up happening. Orange has a pretty slow start, though.
We do see one of the very interesting cards in Orange's version of Shaman in his hand, though. He has Barnes. Barnes is a card that is not included in a lot of versions of Evolve Shaman, but it does combine very well with Evolve. It's kind of like the Serenade Chain Gang that we see in a number of different decks. We saw Pavel with that in the last match. It can hit some really key things, though. Hitting a Black Paw is just inherently powerful. Hitting a thing from below, suddenly you can evolve a 4 and a 6 as early as turn 4 with the coin.
Primal Fin Totem, a timely draw here, so Orange doesn't have to just hero power pass.
Is someone injured?
Or is it? I mean, the fact that he's able to draw off of this very nice play from Pavel to be able to attack and heal his opponent's minion for a card.
So Orange does have Corsair plus Maelstrom Portal. He has the tools to clear off this entire board. And Maelstrom Portal, one of the weaker cards in the matchup, so finding an opportunity to get a valuable clear of the board with the Maelstrom Portal is pretty good. Ooh, Argent Squire is a solid minion to come off of the portal, though I would not be surprised if Pavel just pulled the trigger on Shadowed Horror right away, not wanting to let this board get out of control. Though picking up a Priest of the Feast does potentially change things because he has potentially a reasonable proactive play this turn. It does possibly walk into Flame Tongue, though, which has to be on Pavel's mind.
Yeah, Flame Tongue value is what Priest Nightmare are made of. But Shadow Word Horror, you kind of pointed this out from the other matchup when it flipped the other way. It's not really killing much if you just use your AoE on maybe like 1 or 2, 1.5 cards.
Orange does have a possible early evolve here. He has Barnes, potentially coin out evolve. Does run pretty poorly into the Priest of the Feast though. Most of it is getting too small. And Priest of the Feast could potentially just mop up. And I think he may be going for it.
There's also a possibility that Barnes gets Flame Tongue Totem. So if he positions correctly,
it's true.
He might be able to get some trades. Orange is well aware. The totem? Oh, the other totem.
I heard the totem sound like you didn't see the Murloc's attack go up. You'll see that before the animation finishes though.
That's right, to save you half a second of heartbreak.
He's going for it though. Evolve as early as turn 4 thanks to the Barnes tech.
I like it. Pyromancer comes out. A Lorewalker Cho!
Lorewalker Cho is definitely interesting. And
Ubarashi Berserker!
Alright,
which got damaged by the Pyromancer. Pyromancer also killed off a minion, by the way, in his wake of chaos.
Well, Lorewalker Cho's a weird card in this matchup because many of the cards that Pavel has spell-wise don't necessarily matter to give to Orange, but he's going to clear it off regardless. Now this board for Orange is less threatening for sure.
The silver lining, of course, here is that Orange does have a form of card draw through the Darkshire Librarian. That's nice to have, because without it, he'd be struggling. There's that Adult Grizzly that you guys saw in the previous series becoming MVP, pretty much putting Shaman to like a hand buffs scenario, but it's not going to be relevant too much outside of 1 or 2 minutes.
Weirdly, Orange can hero power, play a thing from below, which will be 6/6, thus survive Dragonfire. If he trades into this Priest of the Feast. Okay, he's going to trade off here. Yeah, he's going to try and get the maximum use out of this Adult Grizzly to force potentially a Dragonfire potion on this weaker board. Pavel does have Shadow 4, which would kill everything with the Darkshire Librarian as well.
Actually kind of works okay. You don't want to give your opponent the card draw if you don't have to.
Most importantly, I think Pavel really wants to conserve that Dragonfire. Dragonfire Potion, a crucial resource in this particular matchup, because it is one of your only ways to answer those big boards that can be generated by Doppelgangster plus Evolve.
Pavel playing even greedier. And man, I like the greed if it pays off. Orange has 5, 9, 11 plus 12. So not enough to lethal him on just Bloodlust alone. And that's what Pavel was calculating.
Doppelgangster, kind of interesting with the Adult Grizzly on the board. You get a bunch of 3/3s.
3/3s are vulnerable to the same thing as Dragonfire Potion, though.
Not the Shadow Horror, though.
You're right, not the Shadow Horror.
Oh, Thrall.
Wait. That is maybe why you draw first, to see if it changes your play. It's a turn before Shadow Reaper Anduin. But at the same time, you're evolving things to 4 mana minions at best.
Right, you're evolving. If you were to evolve with the Thrall this turn, you're getting a pretty distinct spread of costs here. And now, though, the 6/6 thing from below, that can survive Dragonfire. Pavel does have Silence. He can remove the buff and clear off this board if he wishes. This board is scary.
Shadow Word Horror allows him to develop a smaller minion, still get the heal off. The 6 damage is pretty scary, but not game-ending by any means, because Bloodlust is the big source of fear here.
And Pavel still keeping that Dragonfire Potion, respecting the threat of Doppelvolve, doesn't want to give away his main removal spell. He doesn't have to.
Orange searching for some way for him to get the advantage. He's been playing immaculately so far, covering all of his bases. Is it time to pull the trigger? Because he has to wait so long. He has to wait 3 turns to get Doppelgangster and Thrall Deathseer. He could pull it early and try to go for a big minion, or he can just kind of ride out this thing from below and get as much damage, see how his opponent reacts.
Looks like Orange is going for it.
This is a crack. He says he probably doesn't have AoE, but even if he does, this is my best chance to win. This is my timing window. Pavel has the punish prepared. He's been so patient. We talked about greed. And if you can survive, greed is oftentimes what pays off the most here. Spirit Lash for the insurance with Prophet Valen, and that's a full board clear. Pavel has climbed back.
Orange is in much the same spot Pavel was last game. A handful of cards that really want him to have a board and no board to speak of. Firefly. Yeah, he can get some 3-drops if he wants.
Yeah,
Not going to be good enough.
but, I mean, you got to do something eventually, but... I mean, you also can wait a turn. Priest isn't putting you on a clock yet. Hasn't even demonstrated that it can pressure you.
Is fulfilled.
With this Lyra, though, things change a little bit.
Right, now all of a sudden, without an answer to this Lyra, ooh, shadow form.
Okay,
Or die.
sure.
Old school Antoine.
Yeah, makes Brian Kibler a very happy camper.
And this is actually a big deal though, because now there's no potential development for small minions for Orange. Any small minion will either be picked off by the board Pavel has or just by his new hero power.
We'll see. Orange has ways to go wide and throw out Death Seer for one last Hail Mary. He'll need chargers, he'll need some high impact 3-mana cost minions.
That's not going to do it. Spirit Lash in Pavel's hand can clear all of the even stealth minion, including Morose.
Yeah, Questing Adventurers, a really powerful card to throw.
Can we just find lethal somehow with the Shadow Madness to play a million spells?
Yes, hypothetically, if it just keeps getting Power Word Shield.
He does
every
have
time.
silence as a backup here. He could cast a bunch of spells, grow this a bunch, punch him in the face. He just keeps hitting ones.
he has
Orange is dead.
Like Primordial Glyph with Mana Wurm.
They won't get a drop on me.
All right, there we go. Orange, he has seen enough. We are going to game number 5 to decide the final spot in the World Championship.
Priest gets a win, and it's going to come down to Shaman versus Shaman, and it's been struggling all series long to get wins. What will happen in the mirror? The difference is Orange has that Sea Giant. Pavel has pretty much as a cookie cutter list as you can expect, playing just the good cards, as a lot of players would say.
And Pavel does have the Serenade Chain Gang, where Orange has Barnes. The Sea Giant takes the place of a Bloodlust. I think you're looking at just the margin. Sea Giant is the power card here, and I think Bloodlust, it's a card that obviously is extremely powerful if you get ahead, but if you are behind, as we've seen, it will just rot in your hand.
Well, that lead evaporated. Pavel is beginning the comeback. Can he do it in Game 5? We'll find out right after this.
Are you excited?
BlizzCon 2017. Watch the opening ceremony and eSport events free starting November 3rd.
Who goes there? I live to serve. Night and power. Just tell me who needs bludgeoning. Fall back or die. Fall back or die.
The Restoration Mage can never be counted out. Restoration Mage can never be counted out.
It has been my honor.
The waters of life. They'll need a healer.
Let me out! Ah!
Oh, there it is.
Oh, great. Anywho,
Why don't you just vanquish your foe?
I can't just kill my boss, Gul'dan.
they can if you do it righteously.
Uther, there are no righteous kills. I've told you this.
Ah, not with that attitude there isn't. Just hear me out.
You should really take a yoga class.
You should take a...
Anyone gonna call shotgun?
Shotgun? What form of forbidden ritual is this?
Is it some sort of dark bargain?
Shotgun. Whoever says it first gets to sit in the front seat.
This shotgun is evil, yes? I shall bend it to my will.
You don't bend it, you just say it.
So it's a spell!
No, you literally just say the word shotgun, and whoever says that first gets to sit in the front.
But what must we give in return?
Everything.
No, nothing.
have my thanks.
100% risk-free. You just say it. You get a free ride to Pizza Palace, which I'm pretty sure closes in like 6 hours, so...
Khajiit is done for. I don't understand. Why use a spell if you get nothing?
I just don't trust it!
Shotgun! Oh, thank you. Get in the car.
A dramatic victory!
Did you just see that?
Okay, where you guys want to eat?
How about Solvafay?
Again, that is not a real place. You just want to murder people. We had pizza yesterday, so pizza?
What about sushi?
Shotgun! Uther gets it.
Orange and Pavel locked in a dead grid of 2-2 games apiece. What's going to happen for game number 5? Neither player has lost a game 5 this tournament. Pavel's won 1 game 5, and Orange has won 2 of them. They've both been clutch when they needed it, but now we head to Shaman versus Shaman. Both decks on both players' side have a losing record this tournament, Kibler.
Yeah, these are the decks these players have struggled with so far. We've seen the Druids get banned most of the time. We've seen the Priests, even with some awkward draws, tend to find ways to win. But Shaman, they've got awkward draws of their own. They've got the Bloodlusts rotting in the hand, as we've seen so many times so far, who will be able to take the board and keep it in this game.
You just saw a nod, too, between Orange and Pavel, signaling each other that they're ready to go with, like, a whimsical smile because they realize what's on the line here. One game decides who is going to the World Championship and who continues to play for the title of the crown.
Orange with an excellent opening hand already. He has a Firefly for turn 1, but Devolve and Maelstrom, great ways to react to your opponent. Not necessarily great to apply pressure, though. So going first, Orange may evaluate whether he wants to keep these in his opening hand.
Firefly, definitely a great choice. Pavel, not even happy with any of his opening cards. Going to be looking for other things like Jade Claws, which can have huge impact for snowballing the board. Flame Tongue Totem also valuable as well. And it seems like one of those dead cards you were talking about, Bloodlust, or will it be so dead? We'll find out here.
Orange opens the Firefly, finds a Primal Fin Totem as his first draw. Pavel, though, no early plays, just Flame Tongue Totems in his hand.
Shaman versus Shaman is extremely volatile, just like it was before. It all determines on who can really win the board convincingly, but can you bounce back from any big board sweeps? Maelstrom Portal, just as important as it was a year ago.
Brawl is the draw for Pavel. A great card if he gets to the late game.
It's looking bad already here. Orange is out to an early lead with that Primal Fin Totem. And Pavel mulliganed really fast, but I think he also had a Primal Fin Totem in his opening hand. Chose to go for a very big gamble. Right now it's not paying off, but again, we're still in the early stages of the game, and Orange is holding back.
We see Orange respect the threat of Maelstrom Portal and Devolve from Pavel, decides to trade in a 1-1 rather than try and value trade with the 1-2, as well as not deploy his Flame Element. He wants to try and maximize the value of this board he has and keep a reload.
Yeah, and you can see that Pavel hesitated immediately. With that Maelstrom Portal, will come back onto the board here, and that's what Orange was, he was suspecting a little bit.
Orange has Maelstrom Portal of his own, finds a Corsair, can find his patches if he wants. And we see, both players, as you mentioned, have not had success with Shaman this weekend. It has been the weak point of their lineup so far.
I wonder if Orange wants to toss in a Portal or Hero Power. It's kind of close. But the thing is about the Maelstrom Portal is that he doesn't actually have a real way to follow it up. He's got 2 Devolves in the Maelstrom Portal, so in a way, this is Orange's hope that he draws something really good.
And now Orange has a wide board, but very little to do with it. He kept that Devolve and the Maelstrom Portal in his hand. He has since drawn another Devolve and another Maelstrom Portal. He has a firm control of the board at this point, with 6 minions to 0, but no way to leverage it just yet.
Pavel knows the dangers of a Flame Tongue Totem coming out here. It would wipe his thing from below and would pressure him significantly, but if he doesn't do anything, he also is staring at 6 minions with 18 guaranteed Bloodlust damage.
Seen Pavel play most of his turns in this tournament very quickly. He now recognizes the gravity of the situation, the importance of every decision.
I draw power from these trees.
I mean, Orange has 1 Bloodlust in his deck, and now you can see the pain of Pavel drawing
Wait.
back-to-back crucial games here.
Can't hear you, wait.
Poor Pavel, eh?
Yeah, motherfucker. That's nice, that's nice. It's good, but...
I mean, it's RNG still, dude.
Yeah.
Fuck it.
Yeah, so bad RNG.
Yeah, I mean, look what he has. Shit.
He could devolve there, I would devolve there.
Devolve why? Because he'll like 1-1 devolve to 0 mana, yeah?
Yeah, they will
He
get
gets-
1-1.
He'll get still 1-1, so, well, you can devolve that. Because I have so many games in my PC.
Yeah, I put it at Primal. It's fun.
I have Magic, I have Middle Earth, I have Evil Within,
Magic.
Rocket League.
I
Yeah, the
deleted
Magic I
Rocket League. And Magic
I mean,
I did.
Rocket League I played, it's fun, but with bots all, it's not fun.
I played like 1-2 times and I don't know, I didn't like it much. I couldn't cheat the ball. I could, but not good. So
Good. Oh my fucking god, Pavel.
Poor lad. Evolve. Evolve yourself.
Evolve what?
Evolve your
Flame Talk. Evolve? No, the game of shit.
Yep. GG, Pavel. Too bad. Okay, let me finish this shit game.
Free packs! Yeah, but it's not finished yet, it's not over yet, but...
I think it's not.
I mean, it's not the final, dude. I mean, who wins, right?
Yeah, when you summon one creature. Oh my god, this...
I mean, I get packs for everyone for someone who wins, right?
No, you get... I don't know, I think you get 2 packs.
For top 4? I don't think I get for top 4. Top 4.
The waters of life.
A full board once again. That totem just keeps generating Murlocs. He's taking it slow and steady. Really slow. And I mean, Pablo probably
He just need one mana storm.
Yeah, it's not that behind because he has low minions, but
Jade.
I think he can still win.
He's not behind because Orange doesn't have evolve.
Yeah, yeah.
Once he draw,
Or he troll, you know.
He will be behind once and ever.
Time to take the offensive.
Yeah, still Orange didn't got good RNG from draws. Bro, just from beginning he had good cards. But probably needs a double. Oh my god, fucking shit.
He's like, oh my god, oh, that's something.
You're a dangerous.
She can evolve
No,
now.
it's nothing, dude. It's nothing.
Dude, that's something. What do you mean nothing? He has like 2,
What
3,
he
4,
has?
4 minions to evolve. 1, 2, 3, 4, yeah.
Evolve
well,
what, dude?
At 5/5 it's hard.
It's not for 2 mana evolve.
Yeah, of course, dude. What's he gonna do? Let him hit him face every turn? Just devolve to get rid of that 5/5. Cry.
Nah, he'll not do that.
He'll do whatever I'm saying. You see.
Of course he'll do that, but it's not good.
Well, he doesn't have any other option. He can clear the 0-2 with the patches and flame tongue and evolve.
Oh, you're so good. Nope.
Go for it. Go.
No evolve. He doesn't evolve it. I was sure. It's not good evolve. Not worth.
He will. I know it's not good, but I don't know.
He didn't evolve it, but
he didn't.
Nice money they get though. $60,000 dollars for the first. Like now Pablo will get 12,000.
Everything for money.
And the Orange will get 20,000 for sure, you know. It's good money. I still should start playing professionally.
Yeah, Romanian guy.
Where is Radu?
I don't know where's Joe.
Where he disappeared. I mean, he was good. He was known. He was good team.
To dry skins.
Evolve. No? Oh.
Is it? No. Yep. She needs one more. She needs a Thrall.
There is a risk here, because Orange is so firmly in control of this game right now. Evolve could potentially turn one of his one-drop minions into a Doomslayer and wipe out
Doomslayer.
I feel like we'll likely see
He'll not evolve, dude.
No, he won't. He will wait for Thrall or he get his board cleared and use a double ganger revolve.
He goes for it though.
I mean, I agree with you. I'd rather not test fate at this point.
Don't evolve.
Evolve, evolve, you piece of shit!
One of the worst draws that you've ever seen.
Death to dry skins.
I mean, you can't really blame Orange for being careful.
No, he'll not. He's smart, dude. He'll not evolve.
Is fulfilled.
I know.
Yeah. He's too smart.
They are not stupid.
What he'll do? Down troll.
Oh, oh. Let me see what he's gonna do here.
Yes, yes.
Troll?
She'll get Leroy. Leroy. Get Leroy.
He's bad?
No, come on.
Top deck. GG!
Hmm.
Ah, that was good.
Why are you so behind it? I knew he won like some seconds ago.
I don't know, now I'll tell you where I'm at. Wait. He hacks someone now. Oh,
Yeah.
he hacks purple.
Yes.
Purple orange. What the fuck is wrong with them?
They're friends.
They are like Chinese nicknames.
Yeah, purple orange. Fucking shit.
The restoration mage can never.
That's a render guy.
Yeah.
He's good, yeah. Fucking Chinese.
Well, Surrender beat Enchilada. How was his name? The Mexican
Yeah,
guy.
it was when I yeah. When I had to choose, I saw first orange, and after I saw surrender. He's good.
Despacito.
Yeah, I say, yeah, fuck, let's pick orange.
But it's kinda unfair how they put the system. Like, Pavel has 2-0 had, yeah? This guy had 2-1. He lost already once. But Pavel loses once, he gets out. Now. But
Well, it's like you lose the first match, you still have a chance, you know?
yeah, I know how it is, but I don't know. But I think Pavel still get a chance to play somewhere or something. But nothing in World Finals.
What the fuck?
Wow.
You see down the Twitch, it says play now, rules, Facebook, yeah?
Yeah.
I clicked the rules and I dragged it down and I got the photo.
Where you dragged it?
I just clicked the rules and I drag it to my other desktop, you know?
Ah, yeah.
And I have the picture they used.
No, lol.
Oh, nice. Didn't knew that.
Let me see.
Like every picture that's there, I can take it. I took the Knights of the Frozen Throne picture.
Time is precious.
Here, spray, go.
Wait,
You're what? You're peeing what?
I'm in arena.
Oh, come on, man. Come on.
This is so fucking bad.
On this Middle Earth game, when something kills me, you don't have save game and drought game.
Lol. You go from checkpoint?
No, it's like orc kills me, yeah?
Yeah.
They get upgrades like bounty for killing me. So they're like level 5, they kill me, they get like level 10, you know? And they change their name like Nemesis orcs or something like that.
No.
And they have to beat them again and they'll get stronger if they kill me again and stuff like that. Nice system. It's good.
This game's going bad.
My contract is fulfilled.
Very good game, Middle Earth. But I need time to play them, dude. Fuck.
You can't play everything, dude.
Yeah, and a lot of games are coming out and now that you can take the games for free. like the green down is out, but I don't know if she can play it co-op. I don't think so. I think it's all single player. She didn't put multiplayer.
Single player as well. The dungeons, I see it has very good reviews on Steam.
Yeah,
Has
but
like
I don't like the...
93%. 93?
Yeah, I saw it.
The fuck? It's like the game we play with Winnie.
Yeah, but I'm not into kind of that.
You don't know
game.
because you don't play. I wasn't not
I saw how's the game.
The turn-based games, but turned out awesome.
I like the graphics on these turn games, though. Dungeon, what you do? You just build a dungeon, and
you have to play
and mobs attacks you. Yeah, I will play it if you play. You play, you know.
Can we play it together somehow?
It's co-op. It's co-op, but I don't think you should put it co-op. I don't know. I don't think so.
These streets are mine.
I'm fucking losing so hard to this piece of shit.
I don't think it's co-op.
The waters of life.
Why did I play this card? Okay.
Oh my god, there's one guy who was uploading speed is... He uploads...
Dude, let me tell you something to do very fast.
52 megabytes per second upload.
Go to the High Life channel.
What?
I forgot, dude. I upgraded my game. Updated.
You updated your game?
Yes. To the newer version.
Why?
To play with the guys yesterday night.
But why?
What, why?
Why you update?
Because I have the new version and I couldn't play it.
What you want to upgrade to take this Divinity Sin update 3.8?
Yeah, both of them.
3.0? Fuck you, man. And what I do?
Download them. They're small. 100 megabyte, 150. Both together.
Piece of shit.
Till I finish this game, it will be done.
Why you play with them? How you play with them?
I play another account. It's in another, yeah.
From the beginning?
Yeah, the other guy started to play, one friend of Solid that worked with him. I don't know if you played with him. He started from beginning and we started for man. Well, we won't play with him, just for starters to show him stuff and that. He will continue alone.
You know, these updates have like seeds, you know, need seeding. Doesn't download so fast. Oh, okay.
No, it's fine. Don't worry.
Well, I mean, why she put Grim down without being co-op?
This one offers something tasty.
You hear me?
Yeah.
Why she put that?
What?
She put a Grim down game, but not co-op. Only single player, I guess.
So it can be played co-op?
Yeah.
I
On
guess
Steam, yeah.
she couldn't crack it or something. Play Golden.
But how you... Yeah, what the fuck? I mean, the one update I downloaded fast, but the other one not so fast.
The big one. Did you finish the small one?
Yeah.
Okay. Open it.
Yes.
It's a bit not tricky, but you have to do it.
Tell
the
me.
right way.
Yes.
Let me find it, so I don't remember this. Okay. Open the update folder. Press setup. Yeah, but be careful. It's the path that shows there. It's not yours. It says that music. It says Games Divinity, blah blah blah. But choose from browse your Divinity folder. Because I did it like this at first and it didn't work.
Yeah, it's good.
I know it's good, but it's not. Believe me.
So I go to games again and...
Yes, because your Divinity folder has a...
Okay, and after?
And after press install it.
Only in Divinity folder, right? Not everything anywhere. I press Divinity folder and I install, yeah?
Yeah.
Customers only.
Okay, successfully installed. Oh, started the other patch to download fast.
Customers
You
only.
still didn't finish the game?
No, but I guess I'll lose.
The watch.
Just for fate.
No, I'm doing it.
I still didn't download Battlefield 1. I have it like 34%. It's like been like 2-3 months maybe. It's the same thing I do the other one, yeah?
No, you finished with the first one?
Yeah, now I'm
to
the
go
second
to
one.
No, nothing. The same thing you do with the second one. And again, check the path.
Yes, and?
When the second patch is finished, go to the codecs folder. To the bin
Okay,
folder.
wait. These fucking songs.
Yeah. This guy has one card and that one card fucked me up.
Okay, finish now. What I do?
You go to the codecs bin. Take
To the second one, yeah?
Yeah, in the newest path, 143.
Okay. Copy this, everything, yes, what I do?
And you go to your game path file folder. Find your game. Open the bin, paste it in there. Then go to the no DVD and take the Steamwork.
Replace.
What?
Replace the file
Yeah,
in
yeah,
this.
yes.
Okay, and I go to now to
No
DVD, yes.
Steamwork. Again, you take the folders from inside the bin and put it in your bin, the game bin, and enter the game, and down there shows.
Wait. I copy this again.
Yeah.
I copied the things from the no DVD, yeah.
From the Steamwork fix, yeah.
Yeah.
And put it again in the same place, the bin.
And I mean, it's not it's weird.
Yeah, it is. I don't know if that's necessary. I don't think it is, but I did.
I mean, you pass it, and after you pass it again, and you replace it again. Like. Anyway, now what I do? Finish.
And now enter the game and tell me if it's the right version.
If it's not, I fuck your mama.
Yeah, okay.
Okay. I fuck your ass. I fuck your ass. Where I see the version?
Down below, near the exit.
Below.
Down below on the right corner. Down.
Down below. Something reminds me of this. What reminds me of this?
Down below. I think someone quotes it in
It's on game.
Down below.
Oh, oi. I know it. In the Uncharted game.
I don't know.
Uncharted. 1.143.148.
Again?
1.3 143.148.
Okay, that's good. Okay.
Okay, invite me.
I lost. That's not bad. I have 4 wins, 2 loses.
Okay, fuck it, go.
I'm coming.
I will defeat you in that game, even I'm not playing it.
No, it's not that easy. This game is so fucking confusing
You
in the
have
beginning.
parts.